Poof! Hello, 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 ladies and gentlemen. Welcome, welcome, welcome. How are y'all doing today? Fresh new week. Fresh news. That for whatever reason is not showing up on screen. There we go. That's more like it. Fresh news. Hot off the press. Man, that's small. But maybe that's just on my end. Hold on. I guess depending on how big my stream is opened on your screen, you can read it. There we go, much better. All right, so they did a little video. I'm gonna skim it. I have it open here because I want to check something. But yeah, they did the summer updates, which included new swimwear and sales on the old swimwear. And they're adding art that other people made to their game. And that's kind of it. They just showed the Fahkumram trailer again. The same one. You know, it's... Oh yeah, and also this one kind of cracked me up. They're doing a collab with Atelier. And look, in the Atelier game, you get the Reina outfit. That's cool. She can run around, pretend she's Reina. Look at it in action. That's great. I'm sure, as this image points out, Reina must be getting the Atelier outfit. No? She gets the hairstyle. I mean, that's actually how she gets the hairstyle. This little thingy here. Bloop, and this little blob. And seemingly that's it. Now, I just saw this tweet and I was like, there is no way. But honestly, I haven't checked it. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to watch where they show it in the video. This can be it. Like, I almost cannot believe it, but at the same time, I'm showing it like this because I'm kind of convinced this is how it is. Because that's the side of themselves that they've been showing. Bare minimum effort. I wouldn't even call this bare minimum. This is big fail. Yeah, bikinis, I guess. So, let's see. Stars in. Now, hold on, let me mute the PlayStation. Please wait, man. They let them wait for 20 minutes?
But sincerely apologies.
And what happened to their desk? Doing it in the broom closet? July 7. Fight Pass. Pixel Pac-Man stage. Whoop. I guess. Fight Pass, we get t-shirts with a JPEG pasted on it. Nice. I will say a lot of the customization just feels so lazy. Oh, look.
Basically,
Show us the big crossover. Prove to me, oh my god, prove to me we're not just getting this thing. If you can even do, if they call that a hairstyle.
So first off, we're going to be talking about what we're doing with this series in Game for Tekken 8. We have some footage to show you today.
はい。いきますかね。はい。
What we're doing?
これ無料のカスタマイズアイテムを、鉄拳ショップの方で期間限定で配信いたします。
This is shameful.
So as you can see
I'm
on
gonna be
screen now,
honest.
These items.
This is giving. You know what this is giving? Remember when you were back in school and you needed to do like a book report and you just like forgot or didn't do it at all? And then you had to go in front of the class and like explain it or talk about it. And it's just like 5 seconds in, it's so obvious. It's just, you don't know shit about anything about it. But you present it like, okay, so this book, right? This book, you know what it's about? It's the same. This is what we've been working on. This is the collab. And then they showed this. It's like,
store for free.
ha!
The free section, they'll be available there.
Dude, they have to be sitting there like, they know this is ass. They know this is ass.
これ癖毛っていうんですかね、浮き毛ですかねが今レーナにこれ平八にもついてると思うんですが、まあ、このエクステのアイテムとあと、右肩に、
There is no way this is it. I am losing my mind. Oh my god, it even fucks the shadows on his head. Look at how fucked the shadow is. Oh my god, they kill.
So you can see in the first footage, Reina had that kind of curly hair. Also, Heihachi, you can equip it to.
Dude, it's throwing a shadow as if it's a solid object. It's totally not doing it like hair needs to be. Oh my
kind of
lord.
Curly hair. Also, Heihachi, but also the kind of light blue plushie on screen, the floating item.
You can't. How do you talk about that? And not only do you get this one plug of hair, but you also get this like floating plushie. You don't even know the name of this collab. I'm sorry. That little thingy has a name in their game. You could have at least done the effort to learn the name of the thing you're cross-pro. I'm sorry. This is shameful. I would be embarrassed.
So you can see the on screen, the plushie kind of.
This is unbelievable. The square fucking paste. There is no way they just took a fucking square print screen and slapped it on a white t-shirt. They've been doing that a lot, by the way. So this is nothing new. This is disgusting. This is so... Oy, 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 oy. Ooh. Yeah, what's up, Aisling? Are they going to say anything about the cheating issue? I don't know. I don't think they care. They want you to get this fucking twirly hair. The big collab. Dude, the other game gets a full-ass outfit. They couldn't even be fucked. They couldn't even be fucked to create an outfit. It's only for one character. You don't even have to take into account every character's body type. Why isn't there a hair plug for the me, dude? They skimping on everything. Look at this sick t-shirt though. Bet you couldn't make that in Photoshop.
So you can see the kind of collaboration illustration.
Dude, not even a fucking gradient edge to make it blend a little bit. Nope, just rectangle, select, copy, paste.
Relevant kind of text on screen. That kind of is a throwback to famous things that she says in the game.
Here's the best thing out of this collab was the official art. How much you're willing to bet that is not Namco Bandai who made that art? I keep saying Namco Bandai. It's Bandai Namco. I don't know why I always flip them around. Like a little bit of
ゲートの方にアクセスしてください
dyslexia on my end.
And so this will be available when we update the game tomorrow. So please check it out for yourself.
That piece is from the Atelier Yumiya character artist. Who could have fucking guessed? Who could have guessed? If Bamco did it, that's easier. Yeah. If Bamco did it, they would just draw a curl on the sheet of paper and be like, that's, you know, artistic impression of the hairstyle.
で、テケン8の方を思います。
God, this
In
is
addition to what we're doing in
this
the
is
game,
shameful.
also,
Yeah, not yeah. Show off the game. You have nothing to do with.
so you can see there's kind of like,
Like,
a
how the
special themed costume.
これが
Yeah, look, they get the whole they get animation and
そし
everything.
て
She actually faces a Heihachi styled.
They get more hair than Tekken. I'm just saying.
So this is the same.
That is Heihachi's bald ass head. That is more hair. They're getting significantly more hair on top of an entire outfit.
Styled, Puni,
はい。
which is the name of the plush character.
そしてこのミヤが
Look, she even gets the fucking Reina Super.
アーツをぶっ放すところで
Is that the Reina Super? I don't know. It looks like it.
これまだまだ指輪の
Intro.
ます。明日から
Why do you make this art with Reina wearing the outfit when she's not getting it? That is disgusting. I don't understand. Like, if this is what you have to show, don't show it. Live in shame. Don't show this. A fucking hair twirl? Dude, the worst part is, not only did you barely do your homework, calling this a collab is the most stretch I've seen that word. Because the other side did all the work. What collab? A twirl of hair and a JPEG on a t-shirt? I mean, I'm sorry. Collab? This is... I don't understand how they are not ashamed. This is...
メンテナンス明けから、コラボを開始いたします。
And it's not like they can't do it. They have people who make outfits all the time.
But as you can see, for Tekken 8, will be applied for the patch tomorrow, July. I believe it's going to be July. Hits their game.
This is
so please
crazy.
コラボステージ、
Yeah, Pac-Man, I don't really give a shit about that. Yes, the season
アイテム
pass.
をカスタムした
The new battle pass or whatever. Wow, you
プレイし
get
てみたい
a shark head, wings, and other shit
映像を
you're never
ご用意いた
gonna
します
use.
はい。まずは本気の BGM になります。
Not only the stage, but it has its own BGM specific for the stage as well. Background music.
で、今床にこう
Is that Rogue from X-Men? They wish.
エフェクト出たものですが、これもパッピクセルで使用になります。
See the fruit effect when they hit the ground, etc.
KT got paid in exposure with the collab, yeah.
プラブレイクして落ちていきましたが、第1回走目は真ん中の部分にプレイブレイク可能なポイントがあります。
At least the DOA collabs for the Atelier stuff were significant.
で、
They don't even make the walking noise. Waka waka. Oh my god, that's true.
プラブレイクが、ブラストが可能なゾーンがありますので、
Not only the items we just showed, but you can see Tekken Ball.
Wow, you can put stickers down. That is so lit.
ので、こちらもます。
So for those
すいません。
I am kind of baffled. Tekken 8 had a budget. Like Tekken 7 did well, and I guess we all assumed that that meant, and it kind of looked like Tekken 8 had a more significant budget, had more leeway, had more whatever, right? This everything they're doing seems like they're working with a skeleton crew. I don't know how else to put it. Either they're working with a skeleton crew, or in some magical way, the entire Tekken team became wildly incompetent. I don't know what it is, but so much of this is just, this is just, I'm trying to find the words to even describe what I'm feeling. Because, like, I'm not gonna say Tekken 8 is like a bad game all around, Like, most people really enjoyed Season 1. Season 2 really screwed it up balance-wise. But, like, there's a lot of good in the game. But everything they've done post-launch feels like they've been half-assing it. And it's been getting worse and worse. And I think this is just... I don't know, man. This is just bad.
For our Japanese friends,
Like, they're doing a
we'll
summer
be uploading
update
that
and then they fucking show the trailer, but
lasted
it's
the
the
more
same one we've already seen with, like, I guess a little influence thing, which, I mean,
Android type.
fine. This is fine, but
The
if you're
same
gonna
monk
do,
actually
like, he
performed
almost
a blessing
releases, that's the
ceremony to
pray
pray for the success of
Isn't
Tekken.
Fakaram about to release and we're not getting anything more? That is insane to
By
me.
both the artillery of smaller attack.
Because there's nothing else. That's the thing. The fucking twirly hair and the slime, that's not something you should be boasting about.
So Fakaram coming out. マスタンスに行って
で
Yep, sell the season pass. Special deal.
鉄拳ファンダムキャンペーンの
Yes.
イラスト部門でご応募いただいた情報を
This is just
New
a
bikinis. I
few-
guess this is kind of what they... This is the big hitter, right? They want to get that sweet, sweet bikini moolah. Sweet, sweet bikini moolah. Do you think these are different? I think they are, right? Because this one has like a bow tie. These are just the normal strings. Like the design here is different than the design here. Watch this be 3 different outfits to buy. Watch. This is not going to be a 400 gem bundle or whatever they charge these days. This is going to be a lot more.
Samples of the characters. We
Watch
have,
him.
wide
Watch him do it. They'll do
These,
it.
Characters will be available.
You have to pay extra for a hair twirl.
鉄拳ファンダムキャンペーンスター
And hopefully, it's in the works. We realize that a lot of people are. Really
Oh shit.
We
Make
have
sure you
the,
buy a
Inno
watch,
Clover,
guys.
Watches. So previously,
See, this is the important stuff. Everyone keeps talking about the game, but what they don't talk about is that you can buy a watch.
But they're coming up soon, so please wait just slightly.
はい
So
And when you
150,
wear this
each
watch,
worldwide. So if you want it,
you gain
should
you actually gain a superpower. You can look at the time and realize it's time to leave Tekken in the dust. It's time to get the fuck out of Tekken.
If you're interested in that watch. Thank you very much.
はい平八も
You can see it's too late.
在庫があるということなので
Run. Run as fast as you can.
Yep. So please check it out.
はいそして
Ugh.
Next up, the Ijan T-shirt collection. So you've seen these at some events, perhaps if you've been, but this is a limited chance to actually be able to order them from outside of Japan for a limited time. So it says until July 12th. So
For a
mainly these
limited
are,
time? That's insane,
The ones
though.
you've seen so far
Why-
for each of the
I
individual
mean-
characters, but the illustration has been enlarged, and then also we have.
The
a few
thing
new
is,
additions
right?
from
I'm not opposed to this. In fact, I'm the type of person who wears like band T-shirts. This is shit I would wear. However, I think the problem with this is it's just a slap in the face after the shit you've shown for the game. If you just showed us amazing shit and like a teaser for the next character, like whatever, and then you show T-shirts, people don't give a shit. But if you're like, hey, guess what? You can buy more bikinis, and here's a little hair twirl and a little slime on your shoulder. And oh yeah, Pac-Man, but no Waka Waka. Get fucked and buy T-shirts. Like, fuck you. Rigid t-shirts didn't have any text on them. That is true. I'm also more of a fan of, like, if you're wearing fandom stuff, especially if it's like gaming related and stuff like that, I do like it more when there's no text. Like, basically, if someone doesn't know it's from a game or like a franchise or whatever, they wouldn't know. It just would look like cool art. And those who know. Those are the best kind. If it needs to explicitly say it, I feel like for music bands, it's a little different. Because, like, they don't, like, art doesn't always communicate that it's related to a band or whatever. But even still.
styles artwork. Okay, cool.
Like, here's the thing. If it was just this with the Reina, it would be, the Tekken is a little too much. Like, just imagine the Tekken not being here.
これめっちゃでかいんですよね。
後ろもね、なんか get ready
あ、
for
そう
the
です
next battle で結構おしゃれでね。
Oh,
かっこいいですね。
はい。
I'm not even kidding when I was just thinking, if the Lily one is cool, I might get it. Now I won't. Get ready for the next battle on your back. That is rough. You know where you can wear this? If you go to a fighting game tournament. That is literally the only place where you won't look like a complete dickhead. You only look like a small dickhead. Oh, that is
So if you're
rough.
interested in that, please check out
The
the website.
plain fucking...
They're opening it up to.
I almost want to say
please
that
check
is
out
the font they use on memes.
website. They're opening it up to overseas customers. For
See,
just
the
limited
Anna
time.
art looks cool,
so
but
yeah.
it says... Can you, like, scratch the back art off?
Cool.
大丈夫ですか？じゃあ次行きましょう。
There's another Reina one?
Next up,
Double up?
checking
The board game?
So
Oh,
this
my
has been
lord.
revealed already, and I've seen them updating.
You
on
think that's
social media,
Impact? I don't know,
how they're
but it's
going
giving
about it.
Impact
This is kind
vibes.
of like,
Just
a
fucking
crowdfunding
plain
project.
white
As you
text.
can see, the rules. So, mock up some of the various different effects, and you pledge for the game.
バトルバランス調整皆さん期待されて
Dude, they're selling everything except
この夏
the
のアップデー
game.
トについて
That is
シーズン
wild,
調整
dude.
For those in Japan. So yeah, obviously it's a big event everyone's looking forward to on these dates, August 1st and through the 3rd. But there's going to be a cool
Smith
little booth,
Coffee.
pop-up booth there.
Wait.
Yes,
Wait. You're doing coffee and it's not Azucena related? Oh, how do you miss like this? Dude, this is unbelievable. How do you miss like that? You have a character in the game whose whole gimmick is coffee. You do a coffee brand thing not related to home. You can't make this shit up. You cannot make this shit up. This is... Oh, please tell me that is just the logo of the brand? But that's Leroy though.
まあこのはいまあエボ USA ではもしかすると
How is this
まあこの
Dude, they should not have done this one. If you don't have anything to show, just don't do it.
まあ新たな情報公開も
This should have been a tweet. Literally, this is a blog article.
っていう話もありますので
Hey, you're getting a little twirl in the slime. Also, bye bye bye, the fucking bikini. You know?
遊びに来ていただければなと思います。
And so obviously EVO is an event everyone's looking forward to.
Unbelievable.
Maybe we'll have some more details on Armor King there, or this character in stage that's left in Season 2 pass that there
Genuinely
are currently
kinda
details
hard
about.
to
So if you're gonna be there,
understand
please,
for me.
check it out.
Like, actually.
ということで明日いよいよ、バージョン 2.03 ファーカムラムあとパックピクセルズ登場しますので皆さん明日鉄拳8でお会いできればと。
That is...
So you've seen that the
Okay, where do we buy? Dude, now we're going in. I'm gonna scan that QR code and I'm gonna look at the store. All right. For overseas customers, please visit through this. Dude, this is I woo. Like, I'm not even kidding. The QR code is a link to a page on the Japanese store with a link on it to the international store. Just put the damn link. Boys. How much do you want to spend on a t-shirt that says get ready for the next battle on your ass? Oh my god, let me fucking send this to my fucking computer. Oh my, I need to show this. Where's the fucking button? Share. To device. Computer. Give it to me. Why is it not working? Of course, the one day for this bullshit not to work. Hold on. I didn't have my browser open. Maybe that's why. Why isn't it? This I cannot believe this. All I've used this. I literally use this every day, where I just send it to my desktop and then it opens on my desktop. And now, for whatever fucking reason, it won't do it. This is really cool. Tekken, your website is dog shit. This has nothing to do with my. Okay, what if I just? Is it? It's not in my history. What the fuck is going on? Is my entire shit broken? I am losing my mind. Why is it not in my history? I'm literally on the page. What is happening? I guess it just... Can you scan a QR code that's on your own screen on the computer? Can Windows do that, or do I need an app for that? Dude, this is kind of... Okay, so I mean, I guess I'll just spoil it without showing it. They're asking 48 euros for a t-shirt. 48? Dude, I pay less for a band shirt at a concert. And they've been getting expensive as shit. It's like 30, 35, 40 even. And that's for a band shirt. Almost 50 for a Tekken shirt. That is crazy. Why can I? Okay, so hold on. I have a plan. Shut the fuck up. Look at this, dude. That is so... They should not have done that. That makes it so much worse. Oh my god. Do they not have anyone? That is... Oh my god. Don't... And they're only... What is this, dude? What the fuck are these sizes? Are you telling me it's already sold out? There's no shot. How few? It's not made to order? It's... What? They only had whatever sizes? No shot. This is just... They're like, this is your unique opportunity to get these outside of Japan. What they mean is this is the shit we couldn't sell because they're all like fucking 5XL. Self-taught style. Oh my god. See, this is... I don't know who... Well, at least this is better than fucking... Wait, no, not the fisting thing. Oh my... No. Oh, no. This is by far the worst. Like, we as DOA players have been laughing with the I'm a fighter thing for so long now. The Fate Fists Meet is so much worse. The fact that I can say Fate Fists Meet and you have to kind of be like, that sounds weird. Oh, I guess he's on purpose saying it wrong. I am. But you can just go with that, honestly. The I'm a fraud shirts were good. At least they have a cool cosplayer who does the modeling. She does a lot of Tekken cosplays. So at least they got one thing right. Hopefully she got paid for that. So not all shirts have the thing on the back. They're just selling leftovers. Oh, dude, every step of this presentation, if you just dig one step deeper, it gets worse. So not only are they advertising barely any updates to the game, where you should just not mention it or put a blog post. This is not an hour-long video thing. But then the merch shit you're slinging, you're like, oh, don't miss out. EU axes, yada, yada, yada. And you're just selling the leftovers for 50 euros each? Like, oh boy, you cannot make this up. And this is like, I don't know who did they... Is this photo? Wait, this is... Oh, they just took a picture with one t-shirt. Oh no. I didn't even see that. It's always the same shirt. They didn't even show the fit on each shirt. Oh, is this the one with... There's no way they're calling this a pre-order item and only are making it in L and triple XL. Oh, dude, you can't make this shit up. They're like, L, average FGC member, 3XL, because everyone else has gotta be a fat fucking pig. This is... There's honestly no words for how bad this is. Oh. and just one model. That's crazy. They just took one chip, 2 pictures. They're like, all right, job well done. Here's $5. That'll pay for the train ride home. Why the shirts are so bad. Here's the thing, right? That's the worst part, probably. They're so close. That's the thing, right? Let's be frank. Like, look at this. The art, great. Tekken at the bottom, just remove this. This art is so sick without the brand. And same with the other ones. Like, even if it says Anna here, that's fucking alright. Tekken. They have such a... Ooh. And like these, like, I get it. You're trying to do like the whole... I mean, they're basically doing DOA 6, right? With the cards, you know, like Kasumi, Runaway Kunoichi, you know, that kind of shit. But Jin Kazama, Lightning of Fate, Karate. Kazuya Mishima, Cold-Blooded Oppressor. That's a weird one. Mishima style fighting karate. Why? Just call it Mishima style. Who was in charge of this? Clearly nobody who actually wears clothing. Because if you see this, I mean, this is made for 12-year-olds. I'm sorry. That self-taught style. I'm sorry. That is so dog shit. Just like, you know, the name of the character, sure, right? But like all the extra stuff, brother, and it has Tekken 8 on top of it as well, brother. Self-taught graphic design, I know, right? I feel bad for the artists who made this art, and now their work is being shit on by the rest of the, you know, I'm a graphic designer. Look at how sweet that art is. Oh man, that is so. And then they're doing what? Yup, that, boys and girls, was the Tekken update. Jesus. Even the Nina shirt with the kanji. Bruh, dude. Oh, see, just do the character names with like just the Japanese name, but in kanji or like what, katakana, whatever the fuck. Just not self-taught style. Mishima Karate. How can they miss like this? This is unbelievable. Katakana is lame too. Or just like anything really. Just fucking. This is. It's hard not to come out of that presentation and be like, my god, they are incompetent. Like, I've not been too deep into the season 2 thing. I haven't really played a lot. I played some Anna, you know, just enough. Basically, I played enough Anna by the time I was tired of it. I just completed the season pass thingy. I mean, the battle pass thingy was full. And then I got tired of Anna, or like tired of the game in general. I haven't really been engaging with it all that much. So my feelings on like how shitty the balance and the updates and all that stuff is, I was still pretty positive. I was like, you know, they can turn it around. We'll just wait a while, and like half a year from now, you know, it'll be in a much better place. We'll get some new content. Things are getting excited. But seeing this presentation kind of makes me feel like, oh, they don't got it at all. They don't have it at all. Ooh. They don't have it. It's oof. Like on all fronts. That was a whiff, big whiff. Dude, if you are an enfranchised Tekken player right now, you must feel so fucking shit. Like if this was the presentation for you, and you're like, I want to see the cool summer things that are coming up, that's gonna be sweet. I love to see what the summer things are. And then it's just like, well, remember that cool collab we talked about? You only get a little plug of hair. Want some new Fahkumram stuff? Hell no. We'll recycle the old trailer again. Oh, anything else? Yeah, buy some bikinis, you gooner. I'm not even against gooning. Goon all day, boys. I don't give a shit. But let me tell you, at least DOA did it right. Are you gonna half-ass gooning like that? Come on, man. If that was a DOA 7 announcement and those shirts were DOA characters, I'd never play DOA again. But if any fighting game developer was watching this, they just got a master class in how not to do merge. Like, do people, I feel like and maybe this is, you know, me getting old or whatever the fuck, but to me, good, like, merchandise clothing is going to be only recognizable by people who also are in the fandom, and to everyone else outside, it should just look like either a cool piece of art or a cool design or whatever, and it should not just scream in your face, hey, this is video game merch, you know? And there's exceptions to every rule, but in general, you know, in general. Here's actually a perfect example. I was thinking about what I have in my own closet in terms of, because I have a lot of band merch and stuff, but I also have some, you know, like pop culture stuff, I guess, you know. And I guess a perfect example is, you know, I have a shirt which was really cheap, so that's why I got it. That's from the Batman from the movie, right? And there's like the character on it, cool art, yada yada. But it also has the logo, Batman. I'm not the biggest fan of that. It was really cheap shirt. That'll be my defense. But flip side, what is way better is the logo, right? Like, sure, everyone knows the Batman logo at this point, but at least it doesn't spell out Batman. Like, I mean, that's the perfect difference, you know? Text in general, again, I feel like band shirts might be the exception to the rule. I'm gonna push back a little bit on that, because if a band shirt is just fucking sick art and people who know, that is actually dope. But for a band shirt, it's kind of like, it's a little more in that culture, in that subculture. So, you know, it's a little less of a faux pas. But like for video game stuff and movies, I feel like, you know, it shouldn't be too on the nose. Like, for example, one piece of merch that I have that I kind of love is I have like an ugly Christmas sweater or whatever that's called. And on the front, it's like the little Yoda from Star Wars, like Grogu or whatever he's called. You know, baby Yoda with like a Christmas gift. And it just says on top of it, Galaxy's greetings. Doesn't mention Star Wars, doesn't have like Disney logos everywhere. It just has the little fucking dude with a little gift, Galaxy's greetings. And it's an ugly Christmas shirt, so it's allowed to be a little cringy, I guess. That's fine to me. That's perfect. If it would say, Star Wars presents a gift for Christmas on you, given to you by Grogu, featured in the hit series Mandalorian. Like, because if I see Kazuya Mishima Tekken 8, basically what you're reading is, this t-shirt design is brought to you by Tekken 8, featuring the character Kazuya Mishima. He's the fucking lightning dude, karate style. Like, that is what it says. Man, that is rough, dude. That presentation was rough. Again, if you don't have to show anything, just don't show anything. Just don't show anything.
How in the world are you still alive? You really are one of the luckiest fellows I've ever met. All that effort to stop you down the drain. Proud of yourself? Veronique was a nuisance too. One who dug too deep. The legendary stalker and the leader of the Sweepers. Two troublesome sides of the same coin. It is indeed unfortunate that my trap built for two snared only one. That so-called legend, Leia Florence, evaded my scheme. But you know where she is. Don't you?
Dude.
It's no great mystery, lad. For myself, obviously. Wait, you expected some grand speech on justice, honor, and duty? Meaningless concepts in this world. No speeches, just action. I just need to carry out my part in Sir Simon's grand plan. And then, I'll reap all the rewards I have sown. Whoever lives, dies, or fights means nothing to me. Let us take you, for example. You think your story means anything? You are a nuisance to be disposed of. A nobody.
You having love for a guy who said no speeches? Exactly.
I'm so glad you mentioned this. Of course, I too want only peace. You see, I abhor violence. We are not savages, my good fellow. I am grateful the alchemist dealt with Veronique. I find such things distasteful. Now, it's your turn. And what could be a more peaceful solution than you simply not resisting and allowing me to do what I must?
That's not what peace means.
You truly are a nuisance, and in more ways than one. But the games end here.
Oh yeah?
An elixir of power, crafted by the most brilliant alchemist as reward for my contributions.
I would ask a refill, my friend. I'm not even warmed up in this game. And it's not looking too hot for you already. Whoa. Now he just starts spamming.
Wait.
Oh, he has more shit? More potions? Huh? Oh shit. Do I have an anti-decay thing? Is this anti-decay? Oh, it is. He's an alien! Cheating again? He healed? Oh. I felt like it was a little too easy. Wait, why did my weapon break? Wow, that just auto aims, huh? That's fucked. The decay is an issue. The decay is honestly the only difficult part about this. Because the decay completely destroys your weapon instantly. It deals damage over time on you. But the big problem is, he does it to you in 2 hits. Only takes 2 hits and actually 2 blocks as well. So it doesn't even have to hit you to do it. So basically, I don't even know how to deal with that. Is there a way to like become immune to it? Nothing for decay. Don't get barfed on, but his attacks do it as well. If you just block his normal attacks, you get decayed as well. But that's a bit of an issue. Shock and break. Is it break? Is that the thing? Maybe it is. We'll give it a shot. So he's like technically not too difficult, but if you waste too much health or time on those first stages, you are kind of fucked. Because you'll need all of them later on.
And in more ways than one. But the games end here.
Jesus, did his combos get longer? I feel like his moves are different. Oh, stun, nice. Love that.
Behold, An elixir of great power, crafted by the most brilliant alchemist as reward for my contributions.
No explosion this time? He's one of those no stun having
You
bitches.
may far too much. It's time to die.
That's faster than expected.
Wait. Oh, what is happening?
Oh shit, already? I was literally healing. I was literally healing. So the final phase is all about speed. You kind of just want to beat him as fast as possible. Don't give him the chance to ruin your weapon, to ruin anything. Just fast. How did I do the first phase so quickly the previous time? I guess I did the fire thing. That helped. That also helped with phase 2 though.
You truly are a nuisance, and in more ways than one. But the games end here.
Oh, get fucked, bitch.
Behold, an elixir of great power, crafted by the most brilliant alchemist as reward for my contribution.
Not getting his timings down for perfect parries. Aha! That's a little bonus trick.
On to more
Ooh, I blocked,
legendary
though.
challenges, or she too will die.
Does blocking kill? That's weird. I feel like, you know, blocking, it can do like the regainable health thing. Blocking should never kill though, right? That seems weird to me. Kind of like in fighting games. Chip damage should never kill, right? That's just weird. The fact that blocking an attack still kills you, kind of whack. Not gonna lie. Kind of whack.
You truly are a nuisance, and in more ways than one. But the games end here.
Is this the trick? Just wait for his attacks to end and then go for backstab? Is that the strat?
Behold, an elixir of great power, crafted by the
We
most
found the
brilliant
strat, baby.
alchemist as a reward for my contributions.
Show me your back. I guess. Oh, that was before I healed.
For she too.
I guess he
will
doesn't.
die.
I guess going in his back doesn't always allow for the backstab. I guess it's like on, you know, approved moments. Only when it's approved by the game to do it.
You truly are a nuisance, and in more ways than one. But the games end here.
Oh yeah? War.
Behold, an elixir of great power, crafted by the most brilliant alchemists as a reward for my contributions.
Oh, that just didn't trigger.
You know far too much. It's time to die.
Too late. The one time I missed that fucking perfect parry there. The one time I miss it. It'll be the time I really needed to do it. The decay is brutal. That is brutal. I've also noticed, definitely something I've started noticing with this expansion. Bosses healed a lot. Like that did not happen in the base game.
You truly are a nuisance.
Here they are healing
And in
like
more ways than
crazy.
one. But the games end here.
I was just dead.
Behold, an elixir of great power, crafted by the most brilliant alchemists as a reward for my contributions.
That is a weird one because I dodged, but it still hit me. I wonder if the explosions he do, I wonder if they like break invulnerability frames or ignore them, because they do seem to hit me no matter what or when I dodge. It's funny how I feel like I did the best the first time around.
You truly are a nuisance, and in more ways than one. But the games end here.
Still can't dodge that one. Oh. Ah, it works for them. Oh.
Behold, an elixir of great power, crafted by the most brilliant alchemists as reward for my contribution.
There's more. Do I have like some kind of status effect? My healing potions are healing for so little. There's more. Oh, missed it again. Wait, cause my super attack doesn't have invulnerability frames? Or was that like a sword unique thing? Maybe this weapon doesn't have invulnerability frames on their super. That might have been a sword exclusive. Not Gunblade. Who knows? They don't mention this shit anywhere.
You truly are a nuisance.
Thanks to From Software for making it cool to not explain shit. Oh, okay. I thought it was yapping time. There's more.
Behold, an elixir of great power, crafted by the most brilliant alchemists as reward for my contributions.
Oh!
Wait. What is happening?
Jeez. Those strings are getting long, my friend. There it is.
Please, my dear, good, kind fellow, hear me out, please. I can explain everything, all of it. Please, just don't kill me.
Now.
All this happened, all of it, because of the alchemist and that damned infighting. I had to pick a side. Don't you see? I'd have ended up like Veronique, or your precious legend.
Yeah, you seem like you ended up real different.
I had to choose. I chose Simon's side. I only did what he commanded. Please, I beg for mercy. If I did evil, it was not of
I was
my
just
design,
following
it was
orders,
them.
sir.
This isn't common knowledge. But when Valentinus ran things, she was... what was it? Off limits. Whatever she got up to, we were told to ignore it. To pretend it wasn't happening. But even as Simon gathered more power and influence, she remained loyal to Valentinus. And when she and Simon came into direct conflict, a bounty was quietly and unofficially placed on her head. Competition was fierce. Veronique's faction targeted her repeatedly, and our side couldn't disobey orders. This is a mistake. But how? The alchemist gave me this elixir, no middleman. For the cure, it was complete. Worked on carcass, as they said. I was to have a stronger body, one immune to disease and infection.
It's almost like they lied.
But no. It must have been a mistake. They gave me the wrong one. The wrong elixir. I must have treatment. I must. My good, kind fellow. Please. Sir.
Oh shit, what are we gonna do? What are we gonna do? We're gonna take the high road? So far, I think the run I've been doing with this character has been to be like the most human kind version. Punished? See, here's the thing though, right? Here's the thing. Bear with me here. Think about this for a second. Leave him, first glance, seems like the kind option. But is it? Is it? Because he's like, oh, it's the wrong medicine. I never wanted to be like this. Maybe you should be like this. For as long as you live. Maybe a quick death. is not what you deserve. Maybe your body needs to ooze pus and like nasty shit until you die.
You just leave.
Leave him.
But you must take me with you. I need treatment. You cold-blooded rogue.
At least you're alive, dum-dum. Oh. Huh. I mean, this one might be nice. Get more Fable. So what happened after the weird guy was reciting early American policy of the New World belongs to us? I don't even know when that was.
I'll be honest, it's the terrible conclusion that schemers like him face in the end. What a fall from grace. He had everything. Why throw it all away like this?
He wanted more power. Final boss of the base game. Well, I guess it depends on which ending you got. Because this game has 3 endings. And I'm gonna be completely honest. It's been a while. I don't think I can recall. Because there's like the thing is with this story, there's like a couple of different storylines in motion, right? You had like, which I believe is Simon, the one he's talking about, was like the king of the puppets. He had his whole deal, but then he in turn was kind of being used by Geppetto, I guess. But he knew it and he thought he was going to be smarter than Geppetto, but that was what Geppetto was counting on. I don't even know exactly. Like, I think I know some of the events, but like the motivations of each character is kind of like I know what Simon the Puppet King was doing. I don't know why he was doing it anymore. Vigor. I will say, with this weapon, stamina doesn't seem to be as big of an issue. Dude, this weapon's so sick. Gunblade. That was such a fun tangent last time. The fucking Gunblade lore. The real life Gunblade lore. Dude, I'll never forget the brass knuckles. Pistol brass knuckles. What were they thinking? But also, what an idea, huh? Dunk. Pow. Combination weapons are fun. Dude, and one of them was a Belgian invention. I've literally never been so proud to be from Belgium than to discover we made like, what was it, like a pistol blade, like machete type thing. Oh man, Belgian made. They should do that knife brass knuckles revolver, dude. That's so funny. Dude, the pistol axe, that was so sick. Dude, all these weapons. The shield, oh my god, the shield! Remember the fucking shield? Oh, that was so sick. With the little fucking peephole. Oh, man. Don't care about the waffles. I mean, they're good. They're good, but that doesn't necessarily make me proud to be Belgian. I don't even understand how you fuck up waffles. You just make the dough and then you put it in like the waffle iron and that's it. That's it. It's just like that. Maybe we have good ingredients here, who knows? Maybe you put a gun on the waffle. Oh, a waffle gun? And we can interpret that in two ways. A waffle with a hidden gun or a gun that shoots waffles. Oh. Madman's Journal. I've learned the devil's method. Subject's body must be fresh, minimal post-mortem time. Container to have a close resemblance to the subject. Appearance is key. The essence acquired from the subject must have been procured before death. As this is true, only one element is missing and it requires a desecration I can't begin to imagine, but must. Am I cursed? Is this retribution for letting myself be blinded by grief, working with these alchemist devils? But without her pain, I have no reason to go on. Send me back to my child. Alas, I cannot. But I can still get the child back myself. If so, that's the only course I can take. I will have no choice but to make this my singular purpose. Singular? What the fuck? Jesus Christ. What do I look like? The Gaza Strip? Get some cheeky politics in there. Beach cafe. Oh no. What the fuck? We're not safe. And his blade's pretty strong. No, not here. Oh, don't split him up. How fucking strong is that dude? Look at how little damage I'm doing. I guess they have ranged resistance. I'm too close. Uh-oh. What's up, amigo? That was a lot more airtime than I expected. Whoa, more. Where is my dude aiming? What the fuck? I didn't even know you could fall down. Huh? Wait, that's so far back. Oh no. That is so far back. Oh. Oh, that's fucked. There's no checkpoint in between. Oh, I need a break time. Ah, man. Man, oh man, oh man. That's fucked. But not as fucked as that Tekken update. Oh my god. I still can't. It's... Dude, again, I wasn't even that down in the dumps about Tekken 8. But this update just gave me like that feeling of like, oh, did they stop caring? Or was this like a marketing obligation of like, we need, you know, we've planned this, we must do this, blah blah blah, and they didn't really have anything to show or do, so they kind of just need to sling some leftover t-shirt stock for 50 bucks each? Huh. That is... It's a rough look, especially since I'm pretty sure Fahkumram releases tomorrow in early access, and in 2 or 3 days full on. So that is one of their 4 times a year milestone updates. And we're getting a curly hair and Fahkumram, so you can give Fahkumram the curly hair. That's the update, boys. That is sick. Buy a watch and a t-shirt, will ya?
time you leave me, I feel like oh, beautiful sunset. Every time you leave me, I feel like
Time and do it. Can't cry down. Can't stick around. Brothers and sisters, rock it downtown, yeah. Can't you like that? Can't carve your face. Tell me, baby girl.
hoof. So holds are defensive, but offensive holds exist too. What the fuck would be a defensive strike or throw? A defensive strike would be a sabaki, right? No? I think sabaki is a defensive strike. No, because those just have hold frames. Wait, hold on. I guess offensive hold is mainly just a wording issue, because theoretically, I mean, I guess an offensive hold is just a hold that also works if the opponent doesn't do the strike. So I guess a defensive strike, what does a strike beat? It beats a throw. So I guess a defensive strike would... an unblockable. Because a defensive strike as an unblockable would be like, oh, they do a throw, boom, it beats them. Oh, they don't do a throw and block, boom, it beats them. Ta-da! Throw beats holds, so I'm just thinking, I was just thinking of what makes an offensive hold different from a normal hold. Because a normal hold, you do it, it beats a strike, it like flips a strike, you know? An offensive hold also flips a strike. You know, you beat a strike. However, the difference is offensive holds also work when they don't do a strike. It's like a, you know, the attack happens whether it actually holds or not. So I was thinking, in that kind of mentality, what would the strike be that has the same properties, you know? And in DOA, strikes beats throws. So what would be the thing that is a strike, beats a throw, but also has the same effect of somebody not throwing? Or maybe like a guard break, that could also be a good interpretation, because a strike beating a throw usually leads into stun, right? So a defensive strike, a guard break, could be interpreted as a defensive strike. I guess the wording is weird because you have a hold and an offensive hold, but then you have a strike and a defensive strike, kind of implying strike is the thing with the offense. So it would be a strike with something less. I don't know. I think you're thinking too much about it. I think you're looking too much into it. I think your issue is not with the thing, but with the words. Defensive sort of implies that you have some kind of version of it in critical stun. I think calling it defensive just makes it weird, because like holds in of itself don't say necessarily defensive. You have holds and offensive holds. There's no defensive word there, you know? You know, normal holds are implied to be defensive, but does that mean if we look at strikes, do we imply they're offensive and then we figure out what the defensive option of a strike will look like? Which, from that point of view, I would still say sabakis are a defensive strike, because they are a strike that beats attacks. So they're kind of like a defensive strike. If the other thing is to strike with hold frames, is an offensive hold just to throw with hold frames? I mean, kinda. It is just a throw, really. Because the offensive, yeah, but that is on the Excel spreadsheet of stats. If I look at with my 2 eyes at the screen and I do an offensive hold and the opponent just blocks, I'm seeing a throw animation happening. Sure, it says offensive hold. It looks like a fucking throw. The triangle system means it's wrong to think of offensive hold as throws. Sure, but I think then I'd still think the Sabaki theory holds up. Also, in the triangle system, there are no defensive strikes anyway, so you know, we're already off the rails. When did I lose health? Holy shit. Did I get hit somewhere? What the fuck was that? They one-shotted me? Can't. Can I just skip them? I can. Nice. Thrust of the question is, what would those missing things be? Like symmetry and particle physics or some shit. I guess you need to properly define offensive hold to do that. So you have parameters to which you can attune a defensive strike or a defensive throw, I guess. Well, unless, I mean, I guess you can argue throws in DOA are mostly defensive in use anyway. Because you tend to do them, you know, after an opponent's offense. Because, like, is an offensive hold just a hold that also connects if they don't strike? Or does it specifically imply that it also only works against the opposite thing in the triangle system? Like, are those all qualifiers? If so, I think it's impossible, you know? Like, if you need to invent a defensive strike, meaning a strike that, I guess, only works not when you use it in neutral, but only when an opponent throws you, and then you push the strike at the right time, because the throw is the opposite in the triangle system. But I guess all strikes already do that. If someone does a throw and you jab quicker, you beat them. You would need some kind of strike that does nothing. Except beat throws when they're coming. Maybe some kind of special block, you know? Like a throw evading stance. Where if it gets thrown, it auto strikes back. And then whatever the version of a defensive throw would be, that would be something, let's see, throws, beat, hold. So it would need to be, a defensive throw would be something that if someone does a hold while you're not doing anything, it grabs them in some way, I guess. But that just, I think the problem is holds are a defensive tool, and an offensive hold is like you add something to it. Whereas with strikes and throws, you would need to remove something, which kind of inherently breaks what they are. These fish are crazy. How did he miss? What the damage? But thinking about this whole thing, there's another definition for offensive hold, right? Like instead of saying you have defensive hold and we add something to it, you can also look at them through the lens of the opposite. Starting with a throw, what can we add to a throw so that it also beats its weakness, aka strikes? We invent the offensive hold. So you can take that logic and be like, okay, strikes lose to holds. Can we invent a sort of attack that beats holds in some way, but then in turn loses to something else? What? That wasn't there before. We fought these guys here last time. What the? We fought them there. Did they change it? Didn't we fight them right there last time? What the fuck was that? $11 out of 10. I mean, it's good design. I agree, because it caught me. But only because I thought it wasn't there. Because we fought there last time. Okay, look at this, all right? We're just gonna blast. Oh god, they hit on with that animation as well. Bye. Bye. Why are they not falling down? Is the real question. They're puppets too. They're heavy as shit. He's that scared? Oh my god. Oh god, this bitch. There's more. Oh, that's way faster than the last one. Phew. For a hold that beats throws, you kind of have GI and Soul Calibur stopping throws. But here's the funny thing, right? Because so with the like, if an offensive hold is like the transformation of a throw, like removing the weakness from a throw, aka strikes, and then beating it, but of course, it gains the weakness of a hold. Right, so if you it would need to be some sort of strike. Weakness of strike is hold, so you would need a strike that is a throw. I guess everything turns into a throw. I guess a strike that turns into a throw, but is beaten by strikes. I guess that's the thing, right? If a throw becomes an offensive hold, it becomes weak against itself. So a strike that beats a hold would turn into a throw. It would be some kind of offensive throw, but that gets beaten by throws. So it also turns into an offensive hold, I guess? Wait, what? Hold up. A strike that beats. Yeah, what if there's like some kind of attack animation that looks like you should hold it, but it's like a command throw. Actually, yeah, that's I guess the version of that attack would be a command throw. But a command throw would be beaten by strikes, because it's a throw. What's left? A throw. Wait, no, a throw turns into a hold. Strike turns into a throw. So then we need a hold that turns into a strike, but gets beat. I mean, I guess the last one would actually be something like a sabaki, but that's instead of just a parry being a hold, but it is a throw that it's a strike that can be held. I guess whatever. I think we're trying to invent stuff that's already in the game, but under a different name. I think sabakis absolutely fulfill one of the missing roles, so to speak, that we're trying to fill here. And actually, I think, aren't there like command throw type things in DOA? You know, things that have an animation that looks like a strike is coming, but then it's a throw. Wanted by the order, Alidoro. Apprehend immediately upon discovery. Fugitive fled after inflicting serious damage upon the order. Multiple charges have been filed, including theft of confidential information, destruction of property, abducting and luring order members, defamation against the order, and also demonetizing their YouTube channel. Wanted dead or alive. No liability shall be assigned regarding his condition. I guess I don't like the Sabaki example because it occupies 2 spots in the triangle where offensive holds occupy 1. Well, in theory, offensive holds occupy 2 spots as well because they beat strikes and they beat holds. If someone does an offensive hold and you do a hold, the offensive hold is gonna hit you. So it beats 2 out of 3 options of the triangle. Right? Dead or alive mentioned. Hey yo! I guess there really is only one of them missing, if you think about it. Whoa, 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 whoa. Calm down, let me heal. Okay, this is fucked. I'm body locked. They just gang up on me and I can't move anymore. That is absolutely fucked. And there's still no checkpoint. This is a brutal stage. Look how far they make you run. How can they both hit you without hitting each other? This game sucks. I agree, that's a massive oversight. Because then you can get into bullshit situations like just now. Which just feels bad. There's nothing like skill about it. No amount of skill gets you out of that. Man, if only the fighting game community wasn't so weird about new titles. I'm sure at this point, if it was somewhat feasible, some indie devs would have made a fighting game, like a 3D fighting game or something, that's worth playing. If fighting games didn't have like a weird community that just, for whatever reason, ignores anything except something that has like a known franchise attached to it. God damn it, what a health pool. That's a gnarly attack though, holy. 5 people that knew what they were doing could probably bang out a bare bones game in a year, then early access it. Yeah, but nobody would play it. That's the thing though, throughout, like let's say the last decade, there's been like small fighting games that I'm sure if they, you know, had like a year or two of support, fine-tuning, balancing over the years, would have been great games. They never get to that stage. They never get the chance. Because the fighting game community is just, you know, I don't know what it is. They all say they like, you know, different things, but they only want the same thing over and over. Any minor change is immediately met with like, ooh, that's not how it used to be. I did not want to press that button, but it happened. To me, the thing that illustrates the stubbornness of the FGC is motion inputs. That to me is like the biggest. Just move on. You don't necessarily need them. You know, a dev can do it if they think it's cool, sure. But acting as if motion inputs are some kind of like integral part of fighting games is kind of whack. Ooh. List of sent items. Writing looks hurriedly scrawled. The document holder is empty. Documents contained herein must be sent with high priority. This folio must be transported across the Archon fleet. Assessment of Simon by the Order. The Path to God. Research Compendium Books 1 to 3. Research paper Physical Alterations rising from Ergo. Comparative experiments Awakened Puppets and the Ego of Ergo. Report on experiment number 7 regarding the cause of carcass mutations. Case collection, carcass mutations resulting from side effects of the cure. Financial report of the order, ergo transaction statement, copies of letters and notes concerning Simon's close associates. Ooh. And final list of Simon's followers. Quarter circles and double directions are pretty essential if you want more moves than dive kick. I agree if you for some reason limit your users to 3 buttons and an analog stick. But if you give them a modern controller with multiple buttons, you can very easily make shit happen. Case in point, Grand Blue Fantasy. The special button plus up is a special move, and button forward is another, and button down is another, and button back is another. Ooh, no need for half circles, quarter circles, all that nonsense, because controllers have more than 3 buttons. Because that's the thing, I feel like people forget that motion inputs were never designed in fighting games to be like some kind of thing, really. It was a solution to a problem. The problem being the arcades only had a couple buttons on them. That was literally it. How can we squeeze more moves in these few buttons? That's it. And we've somehow come to think about this solution to a problem that we don't have anymore as something essential to fighting games. Now, I will concede it was essential to the evolution of fighting games as we have them now, right? I'm not saying that. they definitely influenced how games were designed and developed over time, you know? The idea of, and we see this with modern games that have like a one button DP, right? We see those being way more effective in a lot of situations because you can input them way faster. Pressing up special is faster than pressing forward, down forward button, right? So we definitely see that the design and the mentality of the older games were informed by, oh, DPs should have these statistics because you can only input them that fast. It takes a little bit of time and reaction to do it. That was taken into account in balancing, but that's where I feel like we should get at a point where we don't need the motion inputs anymore, per se. But that also means you need to tweak your games a little bit. You know, you can't make a fighting game like they were with motion inputs and just remove motion inputs. You kind of need to tweak the balance and the design of your game a little bit to accommodate for the idea of a frame 1 DP, a frame 1 fireball. Like, that's the thing now, you know. No backstab? Alright. But yeah. And here's the thing. The funny thing is, talking about motion inputs in this way, like, if you have a little bit of a developer's brain and not just a player mentality, but like a little bit of a developer developer blame, like, I feel like you can immediately recognize what I'm saying. You know, if you make sure your game is developed in a way to accommodate one button DPs and stuff, then it works. You can perfectly have, like, you know, 2 shoulder buttons where forward plus the one shoulder button is a fireball, forward plus the other shoulder button is like a different fireball or a different version, whatever the fuck. There's like a million options you can do with the buttons we have on a pad with just one directional inputs instead of doing the motion inputs. But I mean, you can also understand that just pasting that in current games is going to give an unfair advantage. But if you look at players online, oi, they don't have the brain capacity to think about it. They're like, well, you know, but it's essential and they've always had it, so why you can never go without. Like, yeah, you can, and it's been done. I think the biggest problem right now is nobody has committed yet. I think Granblue Rising is the closest we've gotten, I think, to a developer that's basically all but conceded to the idea of you don't really need motion inputs anymore. I think if you play Granblue Rising, you'd be hard-pressed to say playing with the motion inputs is just better, like statistically better. It just isn't. It might be more fun for you, personally. I will not take that away from anyone. And you know, they've also done like the motion inputs in neutral do more damage, right? Like 10% or something. As I guess kind of like a little bit of a balancing trick they try to do there. Because again, like in neutral, a one button fireball is gonna be faster than a, 3 frame fireball minimum. If you're not frame perfect, it might be 5, it might be 6 frames. Whereas pressing forward and one button, that's always frame 1 gonna happen. Motion input tracking the motion of the move is really good. Connaissance? What do you mean with connaissance? Like that the motion matches the feeling of the move? Is that what you mean with it? Yeah, I'm gonna say that's more of a happy accident, if anything. Or like, not a happy accident, more in the sense of like, we're gonna do motion inputs, might as well make the quarter circle be the fireball. Like some motion inputs make 0 sense. Like in what universe is doing a 720 twist? Like, how does that feel like a throw? It only feels like a throw because you've been conditioned for it. But nothing about 2 circles indicates throw, really. And let's not even talk about fucking charge characters. Because they just feel awkward as fuck always. Holding back to load up a fireball, which goes forward. Except stuff like forward moving specials. And most of the time, quarter circle back. Oh my god. Pressing down kick for like a kick into someone's head. Ay, ay, ay. It's HCD design and DOA wins again. DOA has a couple of weird moves as well. There's for sure moves in DOA that are like down back and like attacks up. Those exist for sure. But I will admit, overall, DOA does feel like the most, you push something and you get kind of what you expect. Shoryuken motion doesn't match the move, does it? It'd be more like a 2-6-8. I mean, correct, actually. But then you see, this is a lot of the motion inputs are like mitigation. Like I'm willing to bet when they first started thinking about motion inputs, they might have thought about doing 2-6-8 for Shoryuken. But then they saw, well, then you kind of jump by accident a lot. Oh, so we have to make sure not to use the up motion in it. Well, fuck, what do? I guess we'll do the Hadouken movement, but we move the forward button first instead of last. I guess we'll do that. Anyway, we got Alchemist's orders here. The puppet looked locked. Man, the puppet locked in the brig is dangerous. To even think of releasing something as mad as that into the city cannot be allowed. But we have traveled sufficient distance from the city of Krat. Our T-foot ergo is left inside the puppet and permanently dispose of whatever remains. The mad puppet's message. Smash games don't have motion inputs. Yep. Has some. I think the newer ones, there's some moves, but they're rare.
But my freedom I have found. And in such a state, I find myself. What magnificent gifts you've given me. Fear not. I shall put these tools to good
only halfway. This is a long message.
Guided maniacs to give me another chance at life. For that, I thank you from the bottom of my, let's call it, heart. But time flies, and there's much to do. I must now bid you all adieu.
Adieu.
I have more debts to collect. The one who left me in such a wretched state. They call her the Little Starter now. Such a splendid little title. And she owes it all to me. It's only fitting to congratulate her in person. See the truth behind the legend. But I sure won't be doing that here with you idiots. It's time I paid a visit to the zoo and remind her of her debt. Oh, I'll let you know you are a clever one.
All right. They're definitely not fighting games. Smash. I always viewed them as party games,
what was
but
in that cell, or what kind of monster it was? Probably not. But here's hoping a deranged beast hasn't been
I think you could
set loose upon
make
the
an
world.
argument for them being fighting games for sure. I mean, they do have a lot of elements of what makes a fighting game a fighting game. We need to get down there. But I don't know how. Maybe here? Ah. Anyway, my opinion is, if you can take a step back from fighting games and from all the nostalgia and all this stuff attached to it, I feel like motion inputs were a solution to a problem that doesn't exist anymore, and game developers should, when developing their game from the start, take this into account, you know, and just get rid of motion inputs. Because here's the thing, right? Most people who argue for it do it from a place of, you know, like people who are against abolishing student loans because they paid off their loan, right? I did the work, I put it in, now you need to suffer too, now you need to learn it too. You can't get to the good stuff immediately because I didn't. I did the work. That's mostly the argument for motion inputs these days, you know? And nostalgia, I'll give it that. Motion inputs are definitely linked in the history of fighting games, right? That is definitely a part of it, and I understand if you're nostalgic about it. I even understand they can be fun to input. I get it. Like I mean, I play fighting games. I've been there. I've done them. I've learned them. I would happily get rid of them, because to me, fighting games get fun when you are past the hurdle of you fighting your character and you get to the point where you're using your character as a tool to fight your opponent, the human being. Right? That's where, to me, the fun of fighting games is. And I don't care if you can press forward special and do an electric. I don't care. That move just needs to be balanced on its own merits. Because I've said for a long time, balancing moves on the basis of the difficulty of input, that's just stupid. Because it is something that can be overcome. To a degree at least. Where do we go now? I guess we need to go back to the zoo. Like, is this just the end? Or is there another road? I don't know. There are motion inputs that are not suffering at all. Not everything is a pretzel or just frame DP. Ayane's 236k would be so much worse if it was just 6HK. I disagree. What the fuck is worse about that? It's the same move. It's just easier to input now. Another thing that makes motion inputs antiquated is that games used to be on stick 100% of the time for 100% of players, and some motions are trivial there but hard on D-pad. I mean, sure, there's also inputs that are easier on D-pad, so I do feel like it kind of evens out in a way. But for all of those, with enough training, that's a non-issue, right? But you need to think about it this way, right? Fighting games have a reputation of being difficult to get into, and motion inputs, I feel, are a bit of a boogeyman when it comes to that. I think personally, I'm the type of person that thinks, you know, everyone is capable of everything. It just takes different degrees of time put into it, you know? To me, talent is just like a multiplier on time spent, right? I don't believe in I'm uniquely talented beyond anyone else. I think everyone can get to expert level in anything, depending on how much time it takes. If you're talented for something, you're just going to spend a little less time getting good at it. So at the end of the road, motion inputs, anyone could do it, but it's like a bit of a, you know, it's like, hey, you need to climb this wall first, but behind the wall is really cool shit. And everyone can climb the wall. Don't worry, everyone can climb the wall. And still people are gonna be like, ah, I can't see what's on the other side of the wall, so get fucked. Yeah, motion inputs are the least you're concerned trying to learn a fighter. Yes, but that's such a... Oh, this is such an interesting point where I feel like that is true, and yet people don't perceive that as the boogeyman, you know? And I'm willing to bet people are... I think people will be far more likely to be like, oh, this person does something better than me. I need to get better. Versus, oh, my input failed and now I lost. Fuck this, right? Like, I think the first scenario, if it's all about just learning the counterplay and stuff, I think people have a lot more fortitude to get through the bad feeling, I guess. Which is what they do in other games, you know. There's like a million comparisons to like FPS shooters or whatever the fuck, but none of those other genres have something like motion inputs. Most other games, the inputs are just straightforward. Shooting is just pressing one button, and yes, there's skill involved in the aiming, just as there's skill involved in knowing when to attack. Right? But the actual doing the shooting is not difficult. if you have talent for something, you most likely have had experience that's unaccounted for. I mean, sure. I do believe in talent in the sense that I think some people are just can pick up certain things faster than others. Like, you know, some people are just better at mathematical stuff. For whatever reason, maybe they have an imagination that can put it in a way that just instantly makes shit clear for them. And that might work for some things. But like, it might even hinder you if you try learning something like, let's say, playing the cello, which is like very organic and not fixed numbers. You need to like really, you know, pick the correct position for the correct note. That's like a little more of an organic thing. Maybe some people have more feeling for that, you know? And to your point, maybe the people who have feeling for that, maybe they just listen to way more music while growing up in their household. Maybe their parents loved playing classical music and they just got exposed to like a lot more complex and interesting stuff sound-wise. That could all be true. But I do believe there's like some innate, you know, depending on how you imagine things, how you know, whatever. But again, to me, talent is like, I view it as a multiplier. You know, there's like also the saying of like, getting good at something is 99% work, 1% talent. I don't even believe that. It is 100% work. It just depends on how long. And talent, be it something innate, being some previous unaccounted experience, it's just going to be a tiny multiplier, you know. Like most things about balance and ease of use, I think you can handle this stuff by having a character that's like that and a character that isn't like that. I mean, sure, right? I think there's part of this discussion that is purely factual in the sense that, you know, motion inputs were a solution to a problem, yada, yada, yada. But we have them now in the sense some people like them, some people don't. I think we are at the point where, of course, fighting game creators have the freedom to do whatever the fuck they want. Do you want motion inputs? Do you not want them? Do you make a character that can and can't do them? I don't know. I guess that's the choice up to the devs. I will say though, I feel like most devs are getting it wrong. Games these days, they try to do both completely at the same time, and I feel like they get it wrong. Like Street Fighter's modern controls, like that's a good attempt, but I don't think that's the correct way of doing it, because like, yes, you don't need to do motion inputs for certain special moves, but one, some characters are just missing inputs, which is, if we're being honest, kind of crazy. There's not a lot of moves in Street Fighter. There's plenty of buttons and combinations to bind it to, and even then they fucked that one up. But on top of that, it also automates some kind of strings and combos, which is weird. It takes away control. And I think here's to me, the argument of removing motion inputs, or at the very least starting with a baseline of no motion inputs and potentially including them for whatever reason, but designing your game from the ground up to just have special forward, special up, whatever, right? Something like that. The argument to me for that is to make a game that at the high level, the ceiling of gameplay is going to be the same, because once you do your motion inputs, you are back in the position of knowing when to DP to counter what, knowing when to fireball to counter what. That stays the same whether it's one button or 3 buttons, right? But the floor does come down a bit, because now there's no barrier to the motion inputs for new people. That would be my main argument for making games without motion inputs. It takes away a barrier, but what you shouldn't take away is control. And that's where all these games with their weird auto combos and all that nonsense, no. I think people love doing combos. I think the same way some people get satisfaction out of the motion inputs, you get satisfaction out of doing a combo, right? But let people do the combos. Even if it's, you know, punch, punch, kick into forward special, into up special, into punch, kick, whatever the fuck. That's still fun. That is still a combo. That's still good. You know, whether it's, oh, instead of punch, punch, kick, now it's forward circle, whatever the fuck, right? That doesn't really matter that much. But doing the auto combo stuff, or like Street Fighter does, like the, now light just is an auto string, like, why? Don't take away control from people. Granblue Versus is perfect. I use a mix of motion inputs and easy inputs. That's why. Hey, what's up, Galobs? Been a minute. But yeah, I think Granblue Rising is probably the closest to what I would think is perfect for how to handle motion inputs in a modern fighting game. It gives you the option to ignore motion inputs. In 99% of cases, it's irrelevant if you even use motion inputs or not, right? The only place it matters is neutral, and both are still useful there, because the one button is still going to be way faster, which is interesting for DPs, for Zeta's spear forward, like that kind of shit. Whereas, you know, if it's not speed related what you're doing the motion input, just squeak out a little bit extra damage, optimize that shit. Other than that, it's irrelevant in Granblue. Both work perfectly fine. The game works. I think that's kind of like the best example we have right now. I am convinced if Street Fighter would have literally just done what Granblue Versus did, the modern inputs would be so much more popular. The only reason I'm not using him is because it takes away too much control, and I don't like that. I wonder if people have trouble with motion inputs because of the curved arrow rather than notating it down forward like Mortal Kombat does. I don't know. I think one of the hardest parts for people like us who've been playing fighting games since forever, right? Can you still remember how it even was the first time you played a fighting game and started doing motion inputs? The feeling of like that barrier, we, you know, what's the word for that again? It's like the curse of knowledge, right? Once you're skilled, once your skill level in some skill rises to a certain level, you can't know what it's like on the low level anymore, right? I remember not having trouble with 236 inputs in DOA 3 as a little child. Yeah, me neither. But when I was playing DOA 3, I was already playing fighting games for years. The first time I did motion inputs, I think was it that Game Boy Power Ranger game? I think it was. I couldn't do them for shit. Game Gear, sorry, not Game Boy. I don't know what to do here. Do I just go back to the zoo? The message implied to go back to the zoo. I kind of was thinking this stage was gonna end somehow, and I guess this is sort of the end. Yeah, the funny thing is I have a friend which, you know, growing up together, we played a lot of fighting games. Specifically me, my brother, and then our friend, right? And me and my brother got completely accustomed to motion inputs and all that shit. And our friend never did. In fact, most of the times he played fighting games with us, he on purpose picked characters where you didn't really need to do much motion inputs, and if there was a game where you couldn't do motion inputs, he's like, I don't like that game. And to this day, he still doesn't do motion inputs. He just thought it was like awkward to do and didn't like doing it. So, you know, I guess they're out there. And again, I'm sure if he fucking wasn't that stubborn and would just fucking practice a little bit, he would do it. But, you know. I feel like there's a difference, like, you know, this discussion, there's two ends to this, right? There's from the development side, which my argument would be, we don't really need them anymore, you know? From the player side, I think, like, if there are motion inputs, realistically, they're not that much of a problem. They just look like a problem from, like, a new player perspective. But that's important too, you know? If anything, that's the real accessibility they should be looking at. Not letting the game play itself. Focus on, like, what's the actual hurdle of people sticking to a fucking fighting game? Why don't they try? You know, why don't they try to begin with? And why do they leave after trying a little bit? Find those pain points. And I think you'll make a much healthier fighting game. Did we kill him? No, right? Oh boy. Oh man. At least we're coming up from behind. Man, I love this Gunblade. I also don't think fighting, I also don't think of motion inputs as a skill barrier. I just enjoy inputting it. And it keeps me in the flow, and something would be missing if I couldn't do them. I feel like that is habit. I'm gonna be honest. I feel like that is just being so used to them. I'm sure if, you know, I'm sure if tomorrow fucking, who's the developer? Cygames, like if they tomorrow decided, we're just removing motion inputs from Granblue, it's special buttons only now, it might take a little bit of adjusting. I'm sure you'll be just as good and you can stay just as well in the flow after just committing to it for a little bit. Kind of the exact same way you got used to motion controls. You know, and I get what you mean though, right? Sometimes between attack A and B, there's a set amount of time. And with a single button input, maybe you need to wait a little bit, then push it. Whereas with the motion input, you can just start inputting it, do a slow half circle, boom. And like the timing feels, you know, feels more easier, I guess, because there's like a singular thing happening instead of wait, then the other thing. I get that. But you get used to that. Don't underestimate your capacity of getting good. You can do it. But I also think Granblue is a pretty elegant solution in the sense that, you know, it has both, and there really is no reason, especially like in combos, there really is no reason to use the one over the other if you prefer the motion inputs. It works just as well, right? I would say the only thing that's kind of a thing is one button DPs is definitely a huge advantage over motion inputs. I don't think it can be understated how much sharper reactions can be in terms of DPs. And I guess, like Rev mentioned, you could put like some kind of delay on it, but wouldn't that just feel shitty? I mean, I guess not. Most moves have some kind of startup frames anyway. I guess you could artificially increase the startup frames of a DP by like 3 frames, so that doing the one button, it's still like a frame perfect input, I guess, like a 3 frame move. I don't know, but here's the thing. I think if a dev from the start of making a game takes it into account, I'm sure you can devise a system where both ways feel good. Or maybe you just don't need one of them, who knows? I think the problems only arise if you try to take the balancing of full motion inputs and try to slap non-motion inputs on it. I think you create a little bit of an imbalance there. I think people think fighting games are hard because it's 1v1 and they can't blame any teammates. So they try to blame the inputs or whatever. I mean, that's part of it. But there's other 1v1 games that don't have motion inputs and, you know. Something with me missing still. Imagine learning an instrument. Why learn the instrument when you can use a computer program to emulate those sounds? I feel like that's not an apt comparison. It's like, oh, having a computer emulate those sounds, I guess you would argue that the computer picks the notes for you, because like the majority of learning an instrument is learning how to play the notes and in turn the chords and whatever. So unless you're saying a computer that automatically does it, because, you know, newsflash, electronic instruments exist, you know. In fact, they're heavily used in modern music. You know, you'd be hard-pressed to find actual live recorded drums on any song these days. That's all MIDI samples these days. Same with basically anything that's not like guitar or cello, and even those are usually sampled, but people still learn them, right? Because, you know, you're just changing the device that makes the sound. You still need to have the intellect to do the correct thing, to do things that are not impossible with the instrument, so you kind of still need to know the instrument. So I think that's not really an apt comparison. I feel like your comparison would be like, instead of motion inputs versus not, is like, oh, why do inputs when you have a cheat bot that just fights for you, right? Also, why RTS games died in favor of shit like Dota and League? That's just the way of the world, I guess. Wait, he's still... Can I still talk to him? 'Cause Oh. You should have helped me. What use are your noble words and high-minded morality when you leave one like me to rot? I'm a coward, worthy of pity, even contempt, yet I am worthy. No villain. To survive in a world gone mad, one must make sacrifices. The law of nature demanded it. Indeed, in the end, you did not sacrifice me to ensure your own survival. In the end, is there really all that much difference between us? Though I died this day, remember me in every battle fought, in every battle through all your tomorrows. But be warned, you too will be forced to make sacrifices, unpleasant ones, but you will make them to survive. It's an inevitability. Manchio Pantalone? His name is Pants. I do feel warm though, so I made the right call. I mean, the other option was to kill him, like to punish him, so it wouldn't really make a difference. Couldn't think of a better example, so yeah, just think something would be missing if I couldn't do my fighting game inputs. Again, I think that's part habit, part nostalgia, part, you know. Like there really is, if you think about it, there are no other games that require that level of inputs to have access to the basic skills of the game, you know? In every other genre of like competitive play, let's put it that way, anything that gets complex in terms of inputs, you know, maybe like a tricky strafe jump, whatever, peek, shoot thing, those are like advanced strategies and not your basic moves. Whereas in fighting games, they're your basic moves. You need all of them. Just to, you know, if you don't do your special moves, you're never gonna win. So I think it's a little bit different. And again, I think most of what you're feeling is gonna be nostalgia. It's gonna be, and again, I keep saying, I do enjoy inputting combos and stuff. I understand, like the combo vortex and stuff like that is real. There is like a kind of the same thing you get when playing rhythm games. There's something to the rhythm and the flow of doing those things that just puts you in a flow state, right? I get that. I get that. But you would also get that with simple inputs. Like as long as you still need to do the combos, still need to do the timings. I think at this point for enfranchised fighting game players, it's mostly a habit. And I see that you can enjoy it, but I also think it's unnecessary. It's at this point, it's a creative decision from a dev. If they want to do it, because they think it's fun and cool, just like you think it's fun and cool, they should absolutely be allowed to do it. But they should also take into account that if they want to lower the floor of entry for the game, that motion inputs are and will always be a huge barrier for new players. Even though we don't think of it that way anymore, and we've gotten to the other side and we see how that's only the beginning. Fighting games are so much more difficult. One should get through frames and punishes and blah blah blah. That is true. But from the outside in, people don't see it that way. If motion inputs are hard, what happens when someone has a PS5 pad and starts saying diagonals are hard? I guess you'd have to look at the statistics, you know? Is it actually a problem or not? Because with motion inputs, I think the evidence is pretty clear. Like a lot of people don't like doing them. So, you know. Or at least have the impression, like it's definitely a thing. And again, the difficult part is no modern fighting game that has a huge reach has done it, you know? I would be very curious what would happen if Street Fighter would apply it the way Grand Blue Rising has done it. Because in my opinion, Grand Blue Rising kinda, they're like 99% at perfection. They offer both options. Both are equally valid. If you only use motion inputs or only use special moves, you can get just as good at the game. There really is no issue in that game in terms of inputs, right? What if Street Fighter does it? Because Grand Blue, I think the great thing is it's just the input. You still need to do your combos. You still need to know your setups. You still need to know the mechanics. It doesn't take any complexity away. It doesn't take any agency from the player away. It's just an alternate input, and that is, I think, where they should be. I don't like these auto combos. I don't like all that nonsense. It's just the inputs, really. And I feel like once a game like Street Fighter or even Tekken or whatever starts experimenting with that a little bit more. With Tekken, it's a little bit more difficult, and I would say with games like Tekken, DOA, whatever, because they have such a large move list, right? Then again, thinking about it, DOA is like a 3, maybe 4 buttons if you really want to put the throw button separately. You can absolutely just have an extra button special, and instead of being like a stupid Fatal Rush thing, just have like the couple moves with motion inputs attached to that button. Like that's totally doable. Three button games, yeah, I know, but if we're thinking about mapping it to a controller, you probably are gonna want to throw buttons separately. You know, if we're dumbing, I mean, we're making it simpler, so we're not just gonna, you know, oh, you want to throw? That is, you need to hold L1, press triangle X, and scratch your butthole, right? You know. Should be looking out for 2XKO. I know, but it's a tag game and I don't like those. And also, it's League of Legends. 2XKO, we'll see how it turns out. Because again, I feel like Grand Blue nailed it. I don't think we need to wait. Grand Blue nailed it. Grand Blue is just not... the thing I'm getting at is, I think all fighting games should do it like Grand Blue. At minimum, unless they feel like they can improve it even more. I just want to see the impact of something like that in a game like Street Fighter, because now there's already a healthy chunk of people in Street Fighter playing modern only, and that is just such a gimmick version of the game. You have auto strings and auto combos. Right, yes, the specials are like a 1 button plus forward, but you're taking away so much of the neutral and normal stuff that it just becomes whack, right? I just want to see if a Street Fighter does it the way Grand Blue does it. How will the numbers shake out? You know, will that attract a lot of new people? Like if it really is advertised as like, hey, this Street Fighter, difficult inputs are gone. Get straight into the fun. Right? How many people will stick to the old school buttons versus how many people will default to simple buttons, if you will? I'd be curious to see those numbers at that scale. That's mostly it. You can do punch kick, H, and double press all the macros. Play DOA on a SNES pad. Ooh. Anyway, I guess. Oh shit. We did give her the painting thing. Oh shit, I need to wrap up actually. I got so absorbed in the conversation and I lost track of time. Whoopsie. The main reason more people are coming to Granblue is a free-to-play version with Gran and 3 other roadie. Do you feel like more people are coming to Granblue? I feel like Granblue is that one game that keeps trucking along but nobody's talking about. I guess if you're in the circles, you probably hear more about it. But I feel like in the general fighting game circles, it usually is just, you know, Street Fighter, Tekken, Mortal Kombat, you know, the big ones. That's usually what people talk about. Maybe Marvel. Wow. To the one who showed such kindness to this blind painter, who had lost her light. After you returned my lost art supplies, I became inspired and finished my painting. This painting. As time passes, I'm certain the world will acknowledge its true worth. To that end, please show this painting to as many people as possible. And we get some music too. Nice. DOA is free, people should play DOA. Exactly. I'm actually not even kidding when I'm saying I feel like the current fighting game system, like the way the fighting game community currently is, I think the ground is fertile and ripe for a new DOA game. As long as they don't put in a fucking you know, as long as it's not DOA 6 in terms of effort, right? But imagine imaginary world, right? Let's say if they've been working on a new DOA for like 2-3 years maybe. Let's just go crazy, right? They've been like behind the scenes, bing bing bing, sculpting what they think is the perfect DOA. Sick graphics, lots of content, well tuned, blah blah blah. All that shit, right? If they fucking announce that shit, like let's say Evo, and release it this year, like by the end of the year, that would be so sick. Like people are itching to get away from the big ones, it feels. I mean, Street Fighter is kind of like, I feel like Street Fighter's trucking along pretty well. I don't think too many people have complaints about Street Fighter right now, other than pricing. The DOA this year is guaranteed dookie. They need to sync it with console. I mean, that is the ultimate strat. You are correct with that. Launching a game with a console always comes with like an audience you would usually never capture. Because there's always going to be a bunch of people who buy a console and want to get some of the launch lineup to kind of show off. You know, look at how sick the graphics are now. Look at how sick my Rumble controller HD is. Right? That kind of stuff. And fighting games usually have the advantage of, you know, in terms of raw rendering requirements, you know, there's a lot less on screen than your average action and open world game. So technically they should be able to push graphics further than their you know, than their competition. But that requires effort and money and actually doing it. Granblue is pretty good. For a fighting game that isn't Street Fighter or Tekken, there's always players in the lobby. Nice. They added a new character recently that looked kind of cool. that kind of made me go like, oh, maybe I should play it again. But then turns out this was already a new season pass and you need to buy the character, and I kind of was like, I didn't really look into it further. Galleon, the new Gunnar character. Is that her name? Galleon? Granblue versus Galleon. She's sick. I like her. I also loved how the realization of what she looks like, and me being like, and then like the song of this game like amping up, was like perfect timing. Oh no! I mean, I guess, thank God, they almost pulled like the most degenerate of Japanese tropes. Age, mid-20s, immortal form. They resisted. They resisted. Oh my God, I'm so happy. I hate it when animes and whatever are like, well, this 3,000-year-old dragon likes to take the body of a young girl, and then the writer could be like, she's 20, she's 19 even, right? They're like, no, I'm gonna make it a point to make her like 17 or 16, like whatever the reason, they need to fucking make it a minority and then sexualize it. And it's like, you could just pick 20. Nobody would give a shit. Nobody would actually give a shit if your 3,000-year-old dragon is a 20-year-old girl instead of a 16-year-old girl. Nobody would actually care. They actively choose for that shit, and that kind of drives me up the wall. Why would you choose that? So, good guy is Granblue, immortal form. She's mid-20s. She's safe. It's safe. She likes sky dwellers. Ooh, I love dwelling skies. She is a sky dweller. Oh, I mean, I guess it's a race. Fuck, I'm not a sky dweller. Damn it. She's a dragon. Oh my God. It's not the meme. I can't believe it said mortal form. I was like, oh, it must be like one of those alternate form tropes. And then I just said dragon. She is actually a dragon. Oh. See, now I don't like her. Now I don't like her. She's like the anime trope. She's a walking cliche. I guess other than being, you know, actually not underage. Man, I just want a new DOA. At this point, right? As long as it's not a shitty DOA, I don't, you know, of course my favorite would be if for some reason Koei Tecmo and Team Ninja are like, you know what? Fuck it. We'll show all these goobers at Bandai Namco. They can sell watches and fucking 3XL t-shirts all they want, you know? Get the fucking pluck a hair out. Do all that. Have fun. We're gonna make a sick ass fucking fighting game with DOA 7 or whatever they're gonna call it. And we're just gonna fucking blow away the competition. We're gonna pump time and money into this shit. That would be preferred, right? But if they would just make one that's not trash, you know, that's just like, hey, we like this, and it has support for multiple years, keeps improving, more content, yeah, just that would make me so happy. It doesn't even need to be the most popular game in the world, just a DOA that gets new content and new updates, so I always have something to look forward to. Like, that would Oh, I miss that so much. I miss that so much. Because I feel like no other fighting games are just hitting. No other fighting games are hitting right now. You know, I thought Tekken 8 was gonna be it. Because it was like, oh, and Anna's coming up and this and that. And then this whole Season 2 fiasco and like nobody seems to be having a lot of fun. You know, Anna's combos are kind of weird to input. There's like no sick flow to it. Kind of put me out of it, out of Tekken. And there's nothing else. 3D games are just gone. I guess I'll have to play fucking Granblue Gunner Edition. Guess I'll have to be a Granblue Gunner from now on. Nothing to do about it. I haven't played Tekken in forever too. Yeah, for me it was like I guess when they launched Anna and I played until I completed the battle pass back then. But that was more by accident. That was like I was just playing and I was like, alright, it's fun, it's fun, it's fun. And then when it stopped being fun, I like basically finished the battle pass. I was like, alright, I'll just finish the battle pass for now and just quit. Could always return to Soul Calibur 2. I mean, we can always return the fucking DOA, right? If we're gonna return to old shit, you can return to any other cool old shit. But the thing, see, this is what I mentioned. I want something that is being updated and has shit to look forward to. Thing that's also something I don't like about Granblue that much is so much of what they added I really couldn't give two shits about. Because I'm not into the franchise, so I don't know these characters. So unless a character is like aesthetically cool, you know, like, oh, this is a cool witch or whatever. Like if it's a cool aesthetic, I can get behind it. But if it's just like, oh look, it's anime guy with short black hair and he's called Sephiroparon, like, okay, but he's a god or some shit. All right, fine. Like, I don't care. Soul Calibur 2 is rollback on Dolphin and the modding scene is active. Yeah, but what I want is a Soul Calibur 7, you see? I'm playing the original Granblue Eater, but I kind of like all the character designs. I mean, that's good for you, better for you, I guess. You're the one having fun, so, you know. I'm just in a shitty position. Maybe I should take a look at Granblue again. Maybe I should. Maybe this new character. The last time I played was when they added 2B, I believe. Or Beatrix. I don't remember. I remember farming a Halloween outfit for Beatrix. I do remember doing that. Was that before or after 2B? I don't know. But that's the last battle pass I completed as well. So I probably missed a bunch of outfits and shit by now. But I think they've included some way to still get them. I don't know. I haven't looked at the game in a long time. Anyway, I'm gonna wrap up because it is getting quite late. So yeah. Boys and girls. I feel like we're getting close to the end with this. We should be, right? So yeah. Maybe next stream we might be done with this. Who knows? I'm pretty convinced Friday I want to play a fighting game, not just this anymore. But Wednesday we'll continue this, hopefully finish it. We'll see. If I don't get into a rant about motion inputs or pistol guns. You sell the old Battle Pass rewards as DLC. Money. Money, money, money. Alright, anyway, guys, thank you so much for tuning in and keeping me company and talking about nonsense in fighting games. I love talking about fighting games because I love fighting games. Yeah, I'll be back Wednesday. You know how it is. We'll continue this and we'll see. Maybe I'll get back into Granblue. Might be fun. Alright, anyway, boys and girls, take care. See you Wednesday. Bye bye.